In this lesson, we take your knowledge of drawing a basic cube and we think about how can we take that basic cube and go ahead and place a circle or an ellipse. So the first thing I'll have you do is draw a square. So draw a square. You might have to use your measuring to get all sides equal. So take a look at this and note that a circle fits perfectly within the square. So this is a key concept of the Renaissance. So if you're studying the Renaissance in your history classes, and maybe you studied the Duomo or an architecture by Michelangelo, there was this beauty in the circle and how a circle can fit right inside a square. So let's see how I did. I'm going to use a template. Fits right inside a square. And this type of order, it was really important to the Renaissance, to a lot of different cultures, that kind of the perfectness of and the equality of a circle. So there's something really beautiful about working with these basic shapes. That's, again, the little history teacher in me. So what you're going to notice in your handout is that each arm of your X can be broken up into equal thirds. So 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3. And in those equal thirds, look at this. It's going to be where the circle hits the angle. So you draw your X, and then if you break it up into equal thirds, 1, 2, 3, where the circle hits falls right there. So the same is going to be true moving from 2D, so that's flat and straight on, so that's basically what something would look like in an elevation or in plan view. So if you looked at a dome or something, it would look much like that looking down in plan view. But we're going to take that same concept as we move into placing that circle into a perspective where it becomes an ellipse. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a square in perspective. So for this exercise, let's say I'm looking down at the top of a circular table or something. I went ahead and placed a vanishing point way up at the top of my page. And from there I drew, so this is just like maybe what the tops of those cubes looked like right above the horizon line. This is a 1-point perspective. Right, so that should look like maybe the top of one of those cubes that you drew in the 1-point perspective. I'll just take this down so you could maybe see. But just as a reminder, that was like a box. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to follow the same principles as your square and your circle and place it now into perspective. So take this and cross it. That cuts it in half, right? You just put an X through it. You've done this already. Through the square, go to the vanishing point. There's only one in this exercise. And then this is where your ellipse falls in. So X to the vanishing point and then a straight horizontal line across in the X. So what you should be able to see is, just like we did in the dissecting the cube exercise, you should be able to see 4 quadrants now on the top of my cube, basically, where I'm going to draw in an ellipse. So if you can see my construction lines underneath, you know, I've gotten pretty good at drawing ellipses over the years, but basically it's going to fit in there. And after time, you get pretty good at it, but know that your ellipse is going to, just like it does here, here, and here, it is going to hit those 4 corners. I mean, that X. So I actually should do this for you so you can see it here. So we know that your circle hits here, here, and here. So we know it's going to hit here, here, and here in the ellipse. And so now what we're looking for is that third marks on the angle. And then once you gauge that, then you can go in and draw your ellipse. Whoops. So 4 points are given, and then the other 4 points you have to gauge. So the truth will be over here as well. So now I'm moving from a 1-point perspective to putting my ellipse into a 2-point perspective. So what you're looking at here is I've drawn a cube. There's my 2-point perspective cube. I'm crossing my cube. I'm going through my X to the vanishing point, which is I put over here. Vertical lines are vertical. So here again, I have my given points where I'm going to go in and draw in ellipse. I have this point, this point, this point, and that point. Those are my givens. Those are these 4 points of my circle. Now I'm gauging those third marks on the X, and then I'm drawing it in. I'm sorry, I messed up right there. I had a nice ellipse waiting for you. That's going to the vanishing point. That went to the vanishing point. So now hopefully, I screwed it up a little bit, but hopefully you see, here it's much easier for me to draw this way. Hopefully you'll see your ellipse fitting in that circle, or that square there, and then how it'll come back. So I'd like you to draw a two-dimensional, the square with a circle. Then I would like you to try to draw that ellipse in a 1-point perspective. So it's going to follow that same idea down here. and then drawing an ellipse in that 2-point perspective. There are ellipse, so like there's circle templates, there are ellipse templates that you can purchase. But really, after a while, you start being a little better at just drawing ellipses. And the easiest way to do that is just to quickly draw those within a square, so that you're staying nice and getting that ellipse really in perspective. That's the end of this exercise. Thank you. And you can take a look at that.